Well, long-time viewers of Outsiders will of course remember that this show has its origins in the 2015 US Republican primary debates when three commentators here at Sky News were adamant that the maverick US property tycoon Donald Trump would not only win the Republican nomination to run for US president, but that he would go on and win the presidency as well. Thanks to the wonderful Tina McQueen and others. From those same predictions, this show, now in its 7th year, was born. Now, admittedly, controversy still rages as to which of those three commentators was the first to predict and support a Donald Trump victory, with both Mark Latham and Ross Cameron still to this day claiming they got in first with the Trump predictions. Well, this morning here on Outsiders, I can exclusively report that the matter can finally be laid to rest. Last week, a team of experts led by myself conducted a deep dive and went back through all my own personal extensive files and notes from 2015. And yes, it can finally be confirmed that the very first Trump prediction came from me.
Conclusive proof there.
Conclusive proof, Rita. I rest my case. Which brings us to 2023, and can I again be the first to predict that Donald Trump will be the Republican candidate and will be the next US president? Whoa, steady, steady, I hear you say. The nervous Nellies cry. What about Ron DeSantis? What about Nikki Haley announcing her nomination? What about Joe Biden winning again? Well, allow me to lay out my case. Back in 2015, what excited and astonished me, and more importantly, a majority of the American heartland, most about Donald Trump was that he has no filter, no veneer of political correctness, no phalanx of professional advisors telling him you can't say that and don't go there on awkward topics, or all of that self-censorship nonsense that has crippled democracies and crippled conservative politicians throughout the West for the past couple of decades. Shortly, we'll be chatting to one of the very few politicians in Australia who is prepared to speak up on contentious issues, Alex Antic. We'll chat to him about the ever-present threat of communism and the dangers it poses right here and right now. What we've seen in the last few years is an ever-increasing tightening of the totalitarianism of thought. Genuine public debate is virtually non-existent on so many issues. Just the threat of cancel culture now operates as a gigantic suppression device in the public square. Donald Trump is unique in that through the makeup of his personality, or simply supreme self-confidence, arrogance maybe, or perhaps fundamental beliefs, or simply because he is rich enough to be able to do so, he operates without that politically correct filter. You know that what he says hasn't been through 15 focus groups and 25 university undergraduate advisors and spin doctors. In a healthy, well-functioning democracy, Donald Trump would not be necessary. But America, like Australia and far, far worse, like Great Britain and the European democracies, is no longer a healthy democracy. We have seen how the so-called deep state, a combination of those all-powerful behind-the-scenes bureaucracies and institutions like the CIA, the FBI, the upper echelons of most of the mainstream media, and of course, the big business and big tech oligarchs, none of whom are accountable to you, me, or the everyday voters. They've managed to manipulate, deform, and distort Western democracies to the point where the collapse of the American empire is now conceivable within our lifetimes. What Donald Trump does is he takes what we are told is the unthinkable and the unsayable, and he drags them back out into the open. That is why he is adored as much as he is feared. In an era when you can virtually write the script of any politician before they've actually opened their mouth, an era when leaders pretend to address a vexed topic but then obfuscate to avoid causing offence to anyone, Trump cuts through the BS and gets to the heart of the matter, at which point the debate becomes honest. You can agree or disagree with the solutions, but at least he's arguing from first principles and calling a spade, rather than dissembling behind the latest woke word trickery and censorship.